UNIDO headquarters. He's an industrial development officer. He's in the innovation and digitalization division of UNIDO. He has more than 25 years experience in the field of international organizations, private sector, public sector. He's a long history, long experience in industrial design, modernization, branding, competitiveness, digital transformation in all around the world, from Africa, Europe, Central Asia, Latin America, Caribbean, Asia, and other regions. He's a very proactive person, and he's a very technical expert on the field. He also used to work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Economic Relations in Uzbekistan. He has dual master's degree, one in international development and one in international economics and relations. So I don't know how can I introduce you, Farouk, more than that. Mr. Farouk will have a presentation, and I believe you'll also have a film. So the floor is all yours. I just want to remind everyone that if you have any questions to Mr. Farouk, to put them on the chat, and then we will address these questions by the end of the session. Mr. Farouk, the floor is all yours. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Afif. Ladies and gentlemen, friends, good afternoon, good morning, whenever you are on this globe. I'm very happy to join you, and I'm really delighted to have this opportunity to present our experience on branding. Just to add upon what Afif was saying about my experience, and this is maybe very much related to this session, I would like to thank OIC for hosting such an important event, and also to inviting UNIDO to be part of it. I just wanted to recall that I've been part of, I was a trainee, one of the trainee of the joint OIC, WTO and IDB trade capacity building session in 2003. So I'm happy that the destiny brings us back around very important topic. So I would like to share my screen, if you allow, and I will proceed with my presentation. So my presentation is called Branding for Competitiveness, Sustainable Growth. And this is all we're putting in the context of supporting young women entrepreneurs as a force behind achieving sustainable development goals. Well, I wanted to start with why we're speaking about branding. Why branding? This, maybe the next slide will help me to explain. Well, basically at UNIDO, we are for decades in the business of adding value to the raw materials, make sure that raw material, the primary products is generating value, incomes, contributing to the improved quality of life, to the export generation, to improved GDP of the countries. And this cotton, textile, and garment value chain, which I depict in this slide, really represents a very good example of how upon 1 kg of cotton, which might cost, let's say, $1, we can add value by going through the different processes and reaching the ready-mades. But you can see, like, also the limit is there. We can multiply the revenue from 1 kilogram of cotton by 5. We can reach up to 10, the multiplication coefficient. But when it comes to the designed and branded fashion, the multiplication effect can be larger. I'm sure that every one of you has in your pocket or next on a desk a gadget, a tool, or something which might cost quite, like, let's say 20% of it cost or 30% of it cost, knowing that the rest of the value would be attributed to those who are designing and hosting the brand. So this knowledge we wanted to bring to the developing countries, and jointly with our partners, we are developing a specific model on branding. So just to conclude with this slide, what we put to the branding and design, we introduced as intellectual value addition. And in top leading companies of this world, I think from 75 up to 85% of the value is attributed to the intellectual property, yeah, including design, including branding. So this is important room to improve SMEs performance, not only in developing countries, also in the context of COVID, a lot of businesses in emerging and also in developed countries are also facing the problems of adding value to their usual production. So, as I said, to pave the way for the basically expanding our experience at UNIDO to other countries, together with European Branding Institute, we launched last year the initiative which is called Branding for Competitiveness and Sustainable Growth. So what does it actually assume? And I will basically lead towards the women employment within my project, and I will be showing quite good examples what we did. So this model is not only focusing on creating brands. Basically, we position ourselves as the only institution which is creating brands for the clusters, for the industrial parks, for the industries, for the regions, and basically not only creating those brands, but also improving competitiveness of the produce of the services behind this brand. We also upgrading the human and technological capacities of the companies who are behind this brand. We presenting their produce jointly at the large international exhibitions on the way outreach in the market. We're strengthening linkages within the value chains, within the clusters. What is important, where we also join the hands with our partners from the European Branding Institute, we're also facilitating implementation of the specially designed ISO standard, which is called brand evaluation or brand management standard, ISO 20671. And we're supporting respective networks, respective industry support infrastructure, so that when our projects are over, we make sure that this momentum is maintained within the country or industry. This is where we're more or less present. We're basically present on all continents within different ad hoc projects where on full-fledged or partially the branding took place. I would like to bring your attention to maybe the most recent examples on how we're doing it, how we did it, and how we actually continuing our supports towards branding, and especially in the context of women empowerment. Within some of examples, I will be talking about our Tajikistan example. It's one of the countries which is also part of OIC family. So this is the project we started in 2015. It was co-funded by China and by Russia, and basically the objective was to contribute to the job creation, especially among women, to contribute to the export generation, to contribute to the additional value, and to this very major macroeconomic goals in which this low middle income country is facing. And you know, maybe someone from you who are from Tajikistan, or those who visited Tajikistan, maybe this is the picture depicting the country. It's a very beautiful country, nature-wise. It's mountainy country, which limits a little bit agricultural activities in this country. So also naturally forcing to the value added over whatever resources are available towards industries. So the country had not so big industry when we were starting, basically largely counting on mining, on one big plant, on aluminum smelter, on agriculture activities and services. So for us, it was a challenge how we can improve women employability in the sector which has the most potential for this, which is industries, which is processing. So for us, it was a challenge, and we found a way in what we call originative traditional creative activities. So what you see basically in front of you, it's traditional patterns, traditional textiles, traditional activities which are not having industrial scale. These are Suzannes, Adlas and Adras. These are sometimes the products which are presented to the just married couples, and these products are not having long lifetime, so it's being used for the few months after the wedding, and then they're finding their place in the Chesters somewhere. So we used this very unique for the region patterns and some unique for the Tajikistan patterns to get inspired from those, and to use, for instance, this very old tradition of Cézanne. It is embroidery, hand embroidery. I'm sure that in each of your countries, this activity exists for centuries. There is ikat. It's UNESCO heritage technique, which is present only in a few countries across the globe, not only in Central Asia, but originating actually from Far East, from Japan, from China. It exists in Indonesia. Surprisingly, it also exists in Inca's country in Latin America. So this is something very unique for the region. So we got inspired from these old traditions. And those pictures you see, they're taken from the 200, 300 years patterns. And we used the industrial design tools to get inspired inspirationally, but also on industrial scale. So we use some digital tools on scanning, processing the pictures, and then basically you can see this is the old Suzanne, which is of the last century. These pieces of arts from the last century, getting inspired from these different elements, developing those, and then using in the modern products. We collected all this knowledge within these two manuals. I have those with me to show that they do exist, and they continue inspiring people not only in Tajikistan, but also in other countries. So we produced it in few languages to come up with the following produce. So this is from something which has very short, let's say, market. We got inspired from the traditions and we put it to the very modern way. So we modernized a little bit the presentation of the patterns, of the rosettes, you can see here the granite apple is very typical for the region, for Tajikistan, for the region, to come up with this innovative products with this kind of home decor carpet and embroidery products, with these table cloth elements, with this home decor and hotel products. We also, one of the innovations, we also used industrial design to turn textile into the accessories, bijouterie and jewelry sector. So this is some of our pilots that we're producing. And also to the souvenir market. Now it comes to the branding. So we started to work with very small number of, it was very difficult to select the companies because the population of industries is not so big in Tajikistan, especially before, let's say, 90s. This sector employed around 300,000 people. When we started our project, there were only remaining 3,000 people there. Can you imagine? It's 0.1% of that population, which was basically present there when we started, and this is 1%. So it was difficult to find the beneficiaries. When we found them, we understood that it's very difficult to work with them individually. We need to group them into the cluster, and these are also very, it's a business card of UNIDO, the cluster approach, when we are searching for the joint efficiency through grouping the companies around the same market interest and production interest. and to reinforce their marketing tools, marketing efforts, we initiated this branding initiative. Yeah, the idea to put them under the umbrella brand, which we called Lal Textiles. I have to say it's very important, very responsible exercise to suggest to a group of company a joint brand. You have to resonate. You have to have some traditional background. You have to be appealing on the contemporary market, on the modern market. The brand shall be dynamic in terms of promoting the product, and it has to have some also signs of success and like inspiration as such. So what you can see, Lal, there is a stone. It shall be also unique, very, very unique for Tajikistan. So we found a team around which we could have built this brand. So Lal is a red ruby stone, which is only available in the mountains of Tajikistan. It also serves as a sign for prosperity, for success, for fertility. We added this element, which is also in many countries, especially in the Middle Eastern country, in Asian countries, in many countries as well, even in European countries, in India. This is a sign which is also associated with fertility, with safety, with success. And around this, we built our product, because talking now a little bit business language, we have to be accountable that we will never be able to create jobs, to create value added, if the product in which you're investing, technical assistance, coaching, etc., is not commercialized, is not finding its market. So marketing approach was very, very important in our project, and I will show you what we achieved. So basically, this brand was so much liked by the national government, by the private sector counterparts. They really insisted to add the word Tajikistan there. So in the full-fledged brand, we have made in Tajikistan as well there. So this is how we're presenting this logo in our product. So our first collections were related to the handmade and carpet woven activities, and you know, these are handmade and machine woven activities. They are very much women employment intensive industries, and we will see it from the following visuals. So that was our first catalog on the carpet products, and also we produced the home textile catalog, and that was a very big success for us, not only to outreach the women, but also some vulnerable groups in Tajikistan. We participated in around 60 national and international exhibitions, so this is very natural, let's say, flow of our activities. We upgrading the products, so we're giving the joint brand, and we accompanying them through the marketing exercise. You can see the pictures from the joint Russian-German exhibition platform. It's exhibition in March 2019. Just few months ago, we've been also in Dubai Design Week with Lal. The innovative thing is coming that these days we're just from today on, we're participating in for first time in online exhibition. It is again Heim Textile, which never was before conducted online. So we are also piloting our presence online because of the COVID situation. I will come back to COVID situation as well. So and at the end, it was also my personal record that the idea would be to make your beneficiary companies to arrange already supply of their produce to the bigger market. So you can see that from this picture, the produce of this of our beneficiary companies already found its marketplace within an international home decor chain. Within 1 year, we signed the contracts with big hotel chains, the wholesale chains, and also the home decor chains. I will give you some names at the end of this presentation. So just to have an idea who were our beneficiary companies, we were supporting, we started actually with 8 companies, and we're now at the second phase where we have 21 companies. And we also extended our sectoral coverage to accessories, to Atlas Adras, and the bijouterie sector. So these are our typical clients. So we are talking about medium-sized beneficiary enterprises, very rich in women employment. Then we are talking about small-sized beneficiary enterprises, which has a bigger, let's say, potential to employ women jobs. We are talking about micro-sized beneficiary enterprises in rural areas whom we dealt with. You can see the picture from the rural area, and we created a center, rural center for the training and also for production in Jomi village region of Tajikistan. And we also we're working with individuals who were working from home, and that was one of our main multiplication effect achievements. You can see it from these pictures. So this is our typical beneficiaries, the face of our typical beneficiaries. It is especially very sensitive topic for this beautiful country, because you might know that a lot of a man population are the working migrants. So there are a lot of women who are not abandoned, but sometimes like abandoned economically speaking. Sometimes the money sent from the countries are not reaching them. So they're still raising their kids. It's absolutely unexpectedly, this project was not meant so much oriented towards vulnerable groups, but it turned to be very instrumental in employing a lot of women, especially in rural areas, and especially by distributing the work at homes, when actually the ladies were having dilemmas. If they go to the if they leave their families, their kids alone, and they're going to some centers, there is a risk of the kids to lose, let's say, surveillance in terms of following the school. Sometimes, let's don't forget, it's a narco traffic country. It could be sometimes kids, unattended kids, are also finding their activities in some not very, let's say, non-criminal activities. Sometimes they're ending up with the computer halls and schools, and just simple attendance is missing. So this option of providing jobs at home was a brilliant solution. Also within the centers like this, we also created child care centers where the mothers can come with their kids, and we even established a training for the industrial design with some computer class for the kids to grow, to learn, rather than find their way in some wrong activities. So another achievement, it was absolutely also unexpected, and that was thanks to our cooperation with UNHCR. UNHCR was approaching us at a certain moment, and actually Navruza Jalilova, she was having presentation, I believe, earlier today or yesterday at this event. So they were knocking on our door, finding in what we're doing some good instruments how to employ Afghan refugees in their refugee camps. So it took us joint efforts to establish industrial sites, industrial training center and production sites in the campuses. We found Afghan ladies very, very industrious, very careful, very talented and creative, and high quality product producers. So this project extended its coverage to cover also these vulnerable groups along with abandoned women. apart from direct support to the companies, it's important to understand that we're also supporting institutions that to reach multiplication effect, to reach sustainability of our developmental efforts. So within only the first phase, we have trained around 500,000 experts, and for 90% they are women. Also, we conducted some 40 training activities. We established one training center, and 3 training centers were upgraded. So also to show different types of the training centers or training sessions which are happening offline. These are some recent pictures which were taken during the lifting of the coronavirus lockdown, but some of them were also happening during the lockdown. I will talk about the lockdown later on. So this is how we are working on very practical issues. But as I was just to return back to the intellectual value added, we put a lot of efforts to the industrial design. So there are special courses which are taking place, computer-based, digital-based trainings on industrial design, on how to get inspired from all those centuries or millennia traditions to produce innovative, competitive, and market-demanding products. So I have some pictures here. Also, what is important to say, this is, I will return back to the SDGs, but just to give the concrete examples of how we weather through the coronavirus related lockdown, it really hit the country importantly. It hit the country importantly from cutting the usual export product routes for them. A lot of businesses just went idle. This project never stopped, and we supported to the possible extent business continuity of operations within our beneficiary companies. The beauty was that thanks to the involvement of the sector, we could have created additional capacities for the products, for these producers to produce medical masks, to produce overalls, to produce other personal protective equipment, to support the current needs of the country in those elements where all imports and exports stopped. We could have managed, you can see, with all the conditions necessary for the safe industrial work operations. These companies helped to the Ministry of Health to continue supply of these medical masks and overalls and other PPEs to the country. We also undertook a lot of efforts to, you can see this is our trainer who was also basically training the companies to how to turn from what they used to do before to basically address the current crisis of coronavirus. So what is important to say also is that thanks to digitalization of our capacity building, of our work training, we never stopped even establishing the export consortia with a trainer who was supposed to travel from Turkey. He prepared the sector for the first in this country export consortia online. We managed to teach online, and we managed to keep the companies selling thanks to the digitalization tool. I have to say it on behalf of my department, which has since June this year, it has a new name. We are dedicating ourselves importantly to digitalization and innovation and technology promotion. So we're benefiting from what actually COVID forced us to. We went inevitably to the digital space. It was a challenge, COVID. We basically took it as an opportunity to use innovative tools, how to continue businesses, how to make businesses more sustainable in long run, more resilient to such crises by linking them through digital tools, by linking the companies with the markets through the digital tools, which is not easy in such countries as in such landlocked countries as Tajikistan. I'm finalizing more or less my presentation. Returning back to the brand. So all what I'm saying is done with the business card of Lal Textiles, Lal Carpets, or Lal accessories. At the end of 2017, our brand was selected as the brand of the year. So we received this, and you can see we're not selected among the national brands, but also among international brands, big brands, top brands. We were selected as the brand of the year. The same year, we received from the Ministry of Industries and New Technologies a special brand for the special contribution to the sustainable industrial development in Tajikistan, creation of the new jobs in facilitating exports. There was of a special reward to our 2-year project. And at the end of the last year, we received the Golden Medal award for the brand of the year. So this is, I think, the most important slide for me, and maybe also why we're all doing this, why all these tools, why branding, why industrial design, why clustering, why finding these ways, what industry to raise, what to upgrade, is towards achieving our macroeconomic results. And those were not possible without signing the contracts with big international chains like Serena Hotels, Auchan, and Yusk. These are respectively the hotel chain, the big retail chain, the huge hypermarket chain, and the home decor chain. And thanks to this, we reached the following results. So within, we were counting only results within the 2 years, 3 years span. So we increased the local sales by 66%. Well, the market is really small, and we were oriented towards the international buyers. So the yearly turnover was increased by 70%. I mean, if I thought that we will increase it by 10%, I will be happy. If we have these big numbers, I'm over happy. So we increased exports by 2 times, and these figures do not account 2019 results. And we more than doubled jobs in this sector, and though 90% are attributed to the women, to the young women, not necessarily young women, also abandoned group of population, refugees, and household farms. Yeah, so the ladies who are basically taking care of the homes. So that was our incredible results. And I have this video to run, so I understood that the organizers can help to run this video for your attention.
Современные мечтатели, вдохновленные быть лучшими во всем. В знании истории, в знании своего дела, в дружбе и в любви, в общении и во взаимоотношениях, в умении проектировать и созидать. Мы такие разные, но мы едины. Едины в своих мечтах о лучшем качестве и в сохранении традиций. Мы те, кто выбирает свободу творчества и стирает границы. Мы те, для кого гостеприимство – повседневная культура. Мы те, для кого толерантность – это образ жизни, а творчество – особое качество души. Мы те, кто объединяет культурные ценности, независимо от того, живем ли мы на юге или на севере. Мы те, кто гордится своим происхождением под единым брендом. Мы те, для кого новые технологии – средства, делающие далекое прошлое востребованным настоящим. А будущее дает нам надежду на новые открытия. Lal Textiles – возрождение культурного наследия.
Thank you very much. I will be happy to answer all of the questions.
Thank you very much, Farouk, for this really informative workshop presentation, and the beautiful creativity we've seen, and the branding, and the way that we are trying to preserve this artisans and crafts, and modernizing them to suit nowadays. I have seen a lot of your products in many of our events of UNIDO. We are a little bit past over time, but what I would like to, there is one question which is really important to ask. I will come to that. The thing is, and I want the participants to understand, we talked on the first workshop about marketing, we talked about franchising. Branding is where everything comes under that umbrella. Branding is a big umbrella where marketing, if you have an established brand, if you have a good quality brand, then marketing will be easier, franchising will be easier, preserving all of this history and traditions. And we've seen that in many countries, in Africa and in other parts of the world. Farouk, we have three small quick questions. One is that, will you be able to share your presentation with us, that we can share it to the participants, if you don't mind? We have a question on, can you give them some names of training courses or capacity building programs that they should take to better enhance their branding skills? I know branding is a very, very big subject, and it touches on so many issues, from the production to the quality, to the marketing, to the sales. So if you can give some advice on that. And we received some requests on, they would like to establish contact with Lal Textiles. So maybe we can link some of our entrepreneurs from around the world with Lal Textiles, and then we can see some creativity and innovation. Farouk, to you.
Thank you so much. Of course, this presentation will be shared. It's a public product. Yes, and I will be very, very happy. I'm happy to learn that the topic is raising interest among the participants, and basically I can confirm that it's just to reply to the question on capacity building, what the trainings are basically on brand development. I have to say that this is, I cannot say that there are 2-3 capacity building exercises that you have to follow to come up with these results. It's indeed a combination of efforts on, as you said, marketing, franchising. We can argue here, is branding is part of marketing, or marketing is part of branding? Marketing is, for me, is rather large area, dimension, where also design could come. So this is what is obvious, that without marketing, it's very difficult to create jobs. Without promoting the final product, without thinking about its quality, design, uniqueness, we have to also be aware that in this increasingly globalized world, increasingly digitalized world, when any product could be bought online everywhere. It's so difficult for such small economies like Tajikistan to position themselves on the bigger market and to find a niche where they can basically lead and some unique product and lead it to a potential market. So it's a combination of a clustering approach, upgrading of the companies, upgrading the quality, technological, managerial upgrading. Brand creation is only one thing with which we are ready as you needed to support. Yeah. So I cannot give you the list of the capacity building. I would rather say it could be a good branding for competitiveness and sustainable growth, let's say, initiative in your country, which could be gladly facilitated by UNIDO. And I have to also confirm that there is a growing interest in this unique product of promoting, let's say, traditional industries, not allowing them to disappear, as Afif very rightly said, not only from developing countries across the globe, but also from emerging economies. So some donor countries are approaching us saying, can we support the lagging regions in doing the same? So the good reference could be UNIDO. It's www.unido.org/B4C. And there you can also find my contacts. Yeah, maybe this is this is the web page, www.unido.org/B4C. And I will be happy personally to support your respective clusters, industries, or companies through potentially considering a joint initiative. Yeah, it's really complex thing. And I will be also happy to put you to the contacts with Lal Textiles. They're trying to be more present in on the platforms for the e-commerce. Yeah, so they are currently present at on 3 major platforms, including Instagram, and then also you can find them in all social media. There is a YouTube channel as well. There is a Facebook account, but I also link you with the project as well itself. So for your let's say developmental interest, for your cultural interest, maybe it would be also for me important to share this screen. Yeah, so I will just share my screen to share my direct contacts. Please feel free to contact me. I will be happy to provide you with more information.
Thank you once again, Farouk. We have questions from Cameroon, Chad, Burkina Faso, Iraq, and from Bahrain, and a few questions here and there. And I believe now with your contacts here, you're going to be getting some a bunch of emails. So Farouk, my brother, I thank you once again for your time, and I know you have a very busy schedule, and we look forward to your support as always. And I would like to thank all the participants who attended. Today is the last day of the workshop, so we'll be having some testimonial entrepreneurs after this session, and then we'll be having the closing session. From my side, I will leave the floor now to ICYF to let us know how long will the break be, and then so that we can resume. Thank you once again.
Shukran, Kasiran. Shukran. Thank you so much.